So this is quite a peculiar insight and probably a weird title to the video, because I'm talking about and letting you guys know that your clients will lie to you. You've got to realize this, and we know this as therapists, but a lot of us also don't apply this when it comes to the application of hypnosis. Clients experience symptoms, okay? It's symptom to the root cause. This is basic hypnosis 101 or basic therapy 101. So if your clients experience a symptom of the problem that they have, by the time they show up and you ask them, what's the problem? And that's like in the first session on the strategy call, what are they going to do? They're going to lie to you, but they're not doing it on purpose. All the client is telling you is, this is my symptom. And one thing we tell all our students is usually the very first couple of things your clients tell you, ignore. Don't listen, because the client's just trying to tell you what they think the problem is. Because how can a client know what the root cause is? That's why they're sitting in front of you. So they're going to tell you symptom, conclusions, backward rationalizations, what they think, what other people have told them, their own assumptions about how things work. They're going to tell you those things. And you can pretty much scrap all those things. What I see, and I almost cringe about this, is when a therapist will say, well, I sit my client down, I say, what's the problem? They say, I have anxiety. And they say, okay, come back tomorrow and we'll do the whole anxiety session, because that therapist has to get the script ready and the audio and stuff like that. But now what have you done? You're starting to prepare things about the symptom. Worse off is your client says, well, I have anxiety or I have this. And the therapist concludes that, oh, okay, I've been told, which is a complete conclusion by the person that told you that, all problems exist because of inner child. All problems exist because you weren't loved. All problems exist because of childhood trauma. All problems exist because of money blocks. All these other things mentors talk about, conclusions over and over and again, and assumptions. So it's not only realizing that a lot of the things your client will tell you absolute lies and conclusions, because that's all they can tell you, which is fine. And your job is to ignore those things and listen for the real unconscious truths that your client will tell you. We call these spotting unconscious moments. But also realize as well, break those assumptions. If you've been taught that all problems, and that's the key word, a very dangerous word, all problems, that all part gets therapists into a very bad place of their own assumptions. When you start hearing mentors say all, ignore those things. When people ask me, what's the common root cause amongst smokers? I wouldn't have a clue. What's the common root cause amongst anxiety clients? How would I know? Because now I'm guessing. Every client has their own issues. Every client has their own root cause. And there is probably millions and millions and millions of different things that a client goes through in order to create that problem. Now, I've got to find out what that root cause is. We all know this. This is therapy 101. And most times that root cause is so bizarre and so detached, it has nothing to do with the symptom that they're having, but that's the whole reason the mind does that. And it's your job as a good therapist to unravel these things. We call them untying the knots. It can't be done with a script. It can't be done with assumptions. It can't be done with all problems exist because. If you start believing those things, you now put yourself into a corner. And clients don't play very well when you're trying to stick to a routine. Realize every client has their own root cause, and there is no such thing as an identical client. So furthermore, if you have one client that comes in, let's say it's a smoker, and then you find out that, hey, this smoker is smoking because they couldn't tie their shoelace when they were 3 years old, whatever, it could be anything crazy like that. And you say, okay, that's interesting. Then the next client comes in and you make the assumption that this client must be the same as that client because they're a smoker as well. You've already lost. You want to be going into each session, not only ignoring the conclusions and the lies that your clients are telling you, but going to each session fresh. And this is why I come back to the idea of you cannot prep this stuff. You cannot prepare, you cannot script, you cannot read, you cannot make assumptions about this stuff, because 9 times, if not 10 times out of 10, you'll get it wrong, okay? So like I said, guys, clients will lie to you because that's all they know. If you realize they will lie to you, you can learn to ignore the lies and listen to what we call the real unconscious truths.